Welcome, siblings. So, I had a really fun idea. Well, I've had the fun idea for about a month, and I thought it would be really cool if we could do it together, or if, any of you wanted to do it with me. But before I say my fun idea, I did it! I'm an ovate now. I'm in the ovate grade in OBOD. So secondly, happy first harvest. Happy Lunasa. So Lunasa is sort of like this final climax of the summer period. Like, we are now descending into the mysteries. We are now going into the dark half of the year. I can smell autumn coming. I can smell the ripeness of the earth as I'm walking along. The brambles have ripe blackberries on them. There are rose hips. The sloe on the blackthorn is ripening. Like, everywhere I go, there are things that are ripening, and you can smell that in the air. You can feel it. You can feel the difference already. I was thinking about this descent into the mysteries, and about, for myself personally, how studying the ovate grade is another form of descending into the mysteries. I feel intensely voracious about it. I am feeling lust for each new piece of information. I'm kind of seeing that as my descent into the mysteries. And also ovate is a bit more, it's a bit darker. Not dark like as in ooh, evil, but ovate is more about like divination and magic and plants, and that's what I love. So here is the idea, okay? I would like anyone who would like to join me, and I'm gonna tag a few of you who I think would, in trying to draw a card from the major arcana in the tarot. Draw one per week. That sounds like a tall order, but it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. I'm gonna do a video all about the Fool card and have my what I drew of the Fool card. And then anyone who wants to join in, and if they want the picture to be in the video, if you'll just email it to me by next Saturday. Then I'll include that. Or if you have anything you want to say about the symbolism that you've added, you totally can. Or if you want to use the hashtag, I'm not super great with hashtags, I'm trying to figure it out, and put it anywhere else, and you want to make your own video, or however, I don't care, this is open-ended. I thought that might be fun. And maybe there could be a few of us doing it, and it'd be really fun. It's also nice because it's sort of like anti-AI art. I don't really consider art at all. We're making our own. I'm not super great at drawing. I'm getting better because I've been doing it a lot as like a spiritual practice, but like I wouldn't call myself an artist. I just like to color. And the inspiration for this really came from back in early 2024. I started obsessively. I did all of the minor arcana. Started with all the court cards and then worked and did, all the ones, the aces, the twos, threes. Used it as like a tool to learn the cards and also connect with them. And what I found as I did this was two things. One, I am someone who struggles with like mild aphantasia, which means when I'm trying to do meditation, it's really hard for me to visualize things. I feel things, clairsentience off the chart, think in words more than pictures, if that makes sense. It's like words or feelings, not images. But the more that I was drawing out my own minor arcana cards, I found that the images just came a little bit stronger for me. And at least when I'm doing like meditations within the Grove, I have a stronger image than I did previously. Not saying that it fixed the aphantasia. I'm not saying that aphantasia is something that needs to be fixed, because we all have different minds that work differently. But I did discover that doing that helped me kind of push myself more in a visual thinking direction. So that was really cool. The second thing is that by putting myself and people who are really close to me and that I care about into the minor arcana, and like putting symbols that I connected with into the minor arcana, is that it also kind of doubled as a form of shadow work, because it sort of took me, some of the cards are very distinctly intense moments in my life, and by drawing them out, utilizing the symbolism and the meaning of the minor arcana, it helped me to heal from those things somewhat and to like kind of see them in new ways. And I'll show you, I have a few examples here under the apples. So here is, hopefully this shows up. This is my Seven of Swords. This picture depicts a roughly 11-year-old me sneaking into my grandma's library and getting books that I would not have been allowed to read because they contained something about like magic. Like the primary title that comes to mind is like Clarissa Pincola's Wild Women Running with Wolves or something like that, because I was so hungry for that information, and it wasn't like I had to sneak it because I wanted these things. Obviously now I'm a grown up, I'm an ovate, I do magic, I do what I want, but that's what sort of came through. So I had like very distinct memories of the carpet, of like there was like the duct tape on the floor where the carpet had ripped. It was painted pink, and I drew child me in a similar pose to the guy stealing the swords, but it's books. So what this did is it gave me a personal connection to the Seven of Swords, but it also means that when I pull Seven of Swords in a reading, that I have my own personal meaning, because it isn't always just like craftiness or sneakiness in a bad way. There is like a small positive where it's like survival. Like sometimes if you're put in a situation where it isn't safe to be your true self, having to do things covertly to connect with things that you desire. I don't know if that makes sense, but it means that in a personal reading for myself, I have, this is what Seven of Swords can indicate for me, because I connected with it in that way. I might not use that meaning in a reading for someone else, but if it feels appropriate, or if, you know, spirit or intuition prompts me to read it that way, that's how I'm going to go. So there's an example of that. See, the next example is this Three of Swords. So in my Three of Swords, it's a drawing of a sort of rendering of a very intense, awful, at the time it felt like the worst feeling, one of the worst days of my life. But, and in that moment, I legitimately was sat next to a dumpster. Like, that's sat on a hill next to a dumpster behind a chain restaurant called Taco John's in Wyoming, having just broken up with my boyfriend, having just shaved I had just recently shaved my head. I did a lot of shaving my head when I was in distress. There was a lot of moments like that in my 20s. Just feeling at the worst. But obviously there was the sun setting. But the thing is that the day after this occurred, this rough time, where I really felt that Three of Swords energy, the day after it, I met Alex, who is now my beloved spouse. And what was going to happen after this Three of Swords moment was one of the most important things in my life, because it totally changed the trajectory of my life. Regardless of how awful the moment can be, we can gain wisdom from it, and that even when the sun is setting, the sun will rise the next day. Get my drift. Gave me a personal connection with the Three of Swords that I might not have had otherwise, because I can visualize this, and also helped me to deal with what was happening. There was a lot more happening in this moment, but that's just an example. And there we go. And a King of Wands with my husband, Alex. And this is kind of a memory of a moment when we were in Sherwood Forest, just sort of envisioning him as the King of Wands. So that's special to me. But you see what I'm saying, hopefully it makes sense. The experience of connecting with the minor arcana in that way helped me, as someone who likes to use cartomancy as a divinatory tool. It helped me personally connect with each of the cards. And I'm sure, as you can also see here, like there's my Eight of Swords. A lot going off in Eight of Swords. There are hints of like the original Pixie artwork, and then I kind of spun off from there. But you might do it entirely differently. Said that there. That's the fun thing. I'm excited to see what anybody who wants to do this with me, and even if no one does do this with me, I'll just do it anyway. But if you do, I'm excited to see what other, am I losing my ivy? I'm excited to see what others might find and connect with in drawing the major arcana. And also, I want to develop a stronger relationship to the major arcana because it is lacking. Like, I have a relationship to it, I can read them, but there isn't like the same like deep network of symbols and emotions that I have with the minor arcana because of what I did with the minor arcana. So I want to do that with the major arcana now, which is going to be interesting. And also I just kind of wanted to, for fun, make videos talking about, basically I'm going to spend a whole week, when I'm not doing ovate stuff, studying one particular card and reading about it, and, you know, going to Rachel Pollack's writing, Waite's writing, you know, whatever, like going all into it, and then make a short little video talking about it, showing what I came up with, and hopefully showing what other people came up with. That's the plan. And I figured that for me on a personal level, that will marry really well with ovate stuff. And yeah, just thought it'd be fun. And I felt like this time of year, the harvest, the first harvest, descending into the mysteries, we could do that together. So yeah. So I shall place an email in the description. Because I'm not super good with TikTok, and I don't really do Instagram. I think I prefer YouTube because it is a slower platform. that's the plan. So I'm gonna do it anyway, but if anyone wants to join me, that'd be great. And yeah, happy Lunasa. Happy first harvest. Many blessings. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.